Well, I guess a lot of our influences come from early American music, the Carter family. The Grand Ole Opry is a big inspiration, just the whole style of you know, being on the stage and putting on a show. You know, you got your costumes on and you're singing songs that make people smile or maybe cry once in a while, but tap their feet. And The Good Book. The Good Book is our autobiography. It's also my daddy's a tent revivalist down in Okeechobee, Texas. For the first 13 years of my life, we traveled around up and down the East Texas coast in the Rambler station wagon with my daddy's tent revival. And so then I had a vision in my daddy's tent revival one Sunday, and I decided that I needed to head out and follow that vision. And ended up in New York City. Actually, not a little bit more than halfway there, though. I was in Circleville, Ohio, and there was this thunderstorm. And I was stuck in the middle of a pumpkin patch, and Stephen happened to be traveling. I was. My boots got caught all there in the...
Chapter 6. Traveling east was a young man who was dressed in the style of his father, and of his father's father. And these garments were suited for working in a cornfield. And they were sturdy and therefore good traveling clothes. And as the young man traveling east arrived in the town known as Circleville, he noticed a storm on the horizon. And the storm was traveling fast. And the storm carried with it many clouds that were dark and pregnant with much rain. And it was not good. But the young man saw the overpass fashioned in the highway, and he saw the creek beneath it. And that was good, for that was where he would bed down for the duration of the storm. The young man traveling east, chapter 7, arrived beneath the highway and next to the wide and shallow creek without getting wet from the storms. No sooner did he arrive, though, than the sky opened up and the rain came down. And the rain came down long and hard and heavy. For 3 days and 3 nights it did rain. Chapter 8. As the young man traveling east ready for himself a comfortable bed beneath the overpass, the young man traveling north arrived in the town known as Circleville. And as the rain came down, the young man traveling north found himself lost in the midst of the pumpkin field. And the young pumpkin vines were very strong, and they tangled around his boots. And his boot heels sank into the rich earth that nurtured the pumpkin vines. And he knew not where he was, and he knew not where he was going, and he was sore afraid. And he stood where he was without moving. Chapter 9. Lo, the sky was dark and the air about it, yet the lucky green dress sparkled still. And the sparkle was bright. And the sparkle caught the eye of the young man traveling east, who was now secure beneath the highway overpass. And the young man traveling east felt a foreboding, and he sensed trouble. He tried to ease his weary mind, weary from his foot travels, but he was not successful. He took the sparkle that he saw in the field to be a sign, and he knew what he must do. But just as he had prepared himself to enter the storm, a flash of lightning appeared, and its brightness blinded him briefly. And shortly thereafter the crack of thunder sounded, and its quickness and its volume made him know that the lightning had struck close by, and it was not good, and he was sore afraid. Chapter 10. With the cracking of the thunder, the young man traveling north let out a scream, and in his mind he wondered if the lucky green dress was so lucky after all. The scream of the young man traveling north made its way to the ear of the young man traveling east, and the young man traveling east knew that the scream was that of a person, and he knew that the sparkle was coming from the same person, and he knew what he must do, and he knew that he must hasten to do so, because the person in the field seemed truly to be in distress, and it was so. Chapter 11. The young man traveling east entered the storm, and his boots were filled with water, but it mattered not. The young man traveling north never saw the young man traveling east. He saw only the hand that appeared in front of him. And he heard a voice, and the voice was the voice of the young man traveling east. And he saith, "Come and go with me." And the young man traveling north recognized the voice, though he had never before heard the other young man speak. And he recognized the words that were being spoken, and he was comforted in his distress. He took the hand that was offered him, and it was strong, and it pulled him out of the rich soil where his boots had become stuck. And he was freed from the soggy earth. And as he was freed, the earth sucked up the rain in the air. And from the sucking up of the rain in the air came forth a sound. And the sound was a funny sound. And it brought forth laughter from the bellies of the 2 young men. Chapter 12. The young man traveling north held tight to the hand of the young man traveling east. And they ran with haste, even though they could see one another not. And soon they found themselves beneath the highway overpass. And they were very wet, but the ground beneath the overpass was dry. And it was good.
You're going to get stuff on your limbs.
real, but this here.
My name is James Dean J. Bird. I was born in Okie Texas. And maybe you don't know that. And this is Stephen Cheslik-DeMeyer. He was born on a popcorn farm in Corn Lake, Indiana. And back in Okie Texas, which is not too far from here, it's about 60 miles southwest of here. My daddy's a tent revivalist. For the first 13 years of my life, we traveled all up and down the East Texas coast in a Rambler station wagon, pulling a little U-Haul behind us. Daddy had bought this from a sideshow in Galveston. And they were like little circus performers and stuff, and Daddy went and bought for them the whole tent and everything, you know, all the little chairs and everything, and he took it home and painted it back to its original orange and gray, and put a little piece stuff on the side, put Bird on it, and we traveled all up and down the East Texas coast for 13 years, and 13 years in and out, and we all got a little tired of it. Daddy didn't get too tired of it, but we got pretty tired of it, especially when we started getting up into the teens and stuff, because my two sisters sat on either side of me. I had to sit on the hump because I was the youngest, and so I didn't get to see much of the world. And Mama home educated us, so I think it's time we got away from my family here for a while.
None of my family is here, so I'll do one about them. There's nobody to embarrass except me.
Right, and that's easy to do. So. This is a song about Stephen's family?
It's about my family tree.
You want to talk about it a little bit? Tell them.
And I think we should just sing the song.
But, okay. But it's just, because, you know, I like to just tell a little bit about the song. Stephen doesn't like to do it.
Jay has a problem with the title.
Well, it's called My Family Tree, but it's not about my family. It's
Tree.
about Stephen's family.
Possessive about my family.
That's something I just said. I didn't know that we were going to do that on stage.
Well, tell him what you wanted to call it.
I don't know what I wanted to call it. I just thought that my family tree was a bit possessive because it sounds like something you should be doing by yourself. Or should at least be about my family too. Just do this.
I don't know much about my father's father. He died when I was only 3. And I don't know who knows any more about him than the man who's not in my family tree. My grandmother says that he was an honest man. He never looked at another woman, but I know that's because he only had eyes for the man who's not in my family tree. I don't know much about my father's father. He died when I was only 3, and I don't know who knows any more about him than the man who's not in my family tree. He kept leaving his family, he kept moving away. She always found him eventually. When she found him, she always found him shacking up with the man who's not in my family tree. I don't know much about my father's father. He died when I was only 3, and I don't know who knows any more about him than the man who's not in my family tree. I wonder now if he were living, what he would have to say to me. We will never know too much about my father's father and the man who's not in my family tree. I don't know much about my father's father. He died when I was only 3.
And
I don't